We know that in the Gospel of Matthew, Jesus said, "Whatever you do for the least of mine, you do for me." So when we feed the hungry, we take care of the sick, we welcome the stranger, we do as Jesus asks us to do, we are serving those individuals who are in need or vulnerable, but we're also serving Jesus himself. You can be confident that as a supporter of Catholic Charities, you helped somebody who was in need, but you also did it for Jesus. Rosemary Center is a 94-year-old organization. It's a Catholic Charities organization that started out serving children with physical disabilities. And over time, they began to serve children with developmental disabilities.
We used to think it was best to get a group of people together and serve them all in one place. So what we had were 40 children living in one facility. It was cinder block walls. So, we would paint them pretty colors and make it look as nice as possible, but it never was home. It was always a facility. Really, the philosophy of care's changed, and we really recognize that folks need to be a part of their community. The support that we received from all of the parishes during the annual appeal was just incredible. This house was developed for 6 specific children. Each child here has their own bedroom. Many of the children here are on wheelchairs, so the floor plan was developed so that the windows were lower so they could wheel up to the windows to look out them. There's all kinds of adaptive equipment in this house so they can be as independent as possible. When Grace came to us with her parents, they were really in need of services.
There were some instances where she would get 2 hours of sleep a night for 6 months straight. It's dangerous to leave her on her own because she's so active. We are an example of people who slipped through the cracks of the government programs. We never really qualified for anything. Before Grace went to Rosemary, we had trouble getting any services. Rosemary saved our family's lives. We couldn't have kept going the way that we were for much longer.
We have chemical dependency treatment. As you know, there's a heroin epidemic. So over the last 3 years, we have more than doubled our services in this area. We now take care of, at any given time, about 91 individuals in residential chemical dependency recovery programs.
Because I know about the disease of alcoholism, I could say at 13 years old, I was a full-blown alcoholic. I started going to jail at the age of 28. I was sentenced to treatment. So when the counselor told me I had to leave, I told him that if I left that day, I would die. And he suggested that I come to Matt Tower. It gave me a new perspective on life. It gave me values. It gave me, it gave me dreams. I actually volunteered for like 9 years. Finally, when I got the position, I worked weekends. Saturday and Sunday, I actually worked 2 jobs. I worked 7 days a week for 10 years. My job as a senior residential assistant, I supervise about 15 RAs, along with support of the clients still. I sometimes do a group, and I do a morning meditation every morning for all 3 of the units that we have here. It was funny because I was here even when I didn't have to work. I would come and just sit around and help staff and help the guys. I wasn't on the clock and wasn't worried about the clock. I just wanted to be here and wanted to help. I let them know that they could be somebody. No matter how old you are, no matter how young you are, you can be somebody. You don't have to be hopeless anymore. There is a way out, and you'll find it here.
At our family centers, we have programs for children, which helps children and their families. It helps the parents with parenting skills, and it helps the children with all kinds of skills, school, balancing, learning and life skills.
I worked for an organization called Eastside Interfaith Ministries, and a part of that program was working with individuals coming from recovery or incarceration. And a young man came into that program that I bonded with, and I started to mentor him. In the process, He had a girlfriend who became pregnant, but he lost his life before the baby was born. After he was born, it became apparent that I would be better suited to take care of Reander, and that led to me adopting him 11 years ago. When Reander came into my life and we started to school, and I didn't have something in place for him after I got off of work, Fatima immediately came to my mind.
This is a family center, and it is designed to support, empower, and nurture families in this community. We've been privileged to offer after-school programs and senior programs and lots of things that families could take advantage of.
They helped us from a holistic perspective, not just a place for him to hang out until I got off of work, but they work with him as far as helping him with his homework, of course.
Fatima gives him a place where he knows he doesn't have to worry about Reander. He has grown and matured and is thriving, and it's a wonderful thing to see and witness.
We all have had challenges adjusting to being a parent, and I found that support through Fatima.
When you invest in children and families, you secure the future for all of us.
Your generosity has made it possible for Catholic Charities to serve so many people every year. As Jesus said, "For whatever you did for the least among us, you did for me."
You did it for me, you did it for Reander.
You did it for me, you did it for Grace.
You did it for the children.
You did it for me, so now we can do it for them.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
As the Apostolic Administrator of the Diocese of Cleveland, I'm so pleased to greet you in the name of the Lord Jesus. I count it a privilege to serve you in this role and come by way of this message to ask you to be as generous as possible to the annual Catholic Charities Appeal. Every dollar you donate will impact the lives of our brothers and sisters in need in Northeast Ohio. May the Lord bless you for your goodness.